So Marvel's Star-Spangled Adventure returns to kick off the 2014 summer movie season a little earlier than usual, so stick around to find out what I think of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Captain America himself, Steve Rogers, is living quietly in Washington, D.C. and trying to adjust to the modern world, but when a S.H.I.E.L.D. colleague comes under attack, Steve becomes embroiled in a web of intrigue that threatens to put the world at risk. Joining forces with Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, and a new airborne ally Falcon, Captain America struggles to expose an ever-widening conspiracy, but they soon find themselves up against an unexpected and formidable enemy, the Winter Soldier. Now, I very much did like Captain America the First Avenger. I thought it was a very satisfying, action-packed thrill ride that hit all the right beats for me. It very much entertained me. I had a good time watching it. I own it on DVD, so it's a good watch. I find it to be a very good film. I know people felt that the character of Captain America was a little bland, a little less than exciting compared to the other Marvel heroes, but I very much enjoyed the film. And going into this one, I very much liked the sort of political espionage, intrigue vibe it gave off. Very much the thing that everyone making the film was very much promising for us. And it does satisfy that. It does very much come out as, in my opinion, Captain America, the Winter Soldier really is the most consistent and focused film of Marvel's Phase 2 cinematic universe, including Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World. I found that it was kept itself very much on track, even though the film does have those moments of humor like all these Marvel films really try to inject into it. Not diverging off like Iron Man 3 did to have these long, drawn-out comedy bits that just go on and just detract and diverge the story a lot. This one kept itself very much focused, kept it right on track. I thought it did a very good job with that, and the consistency of the whole film is that, yeah, it keeps a consistent good tone about itself. It keeps the thriller, espionage, intrigue stuff in the forefront, but still maintains a certain sense of fun to what's going on, but it doesn't sacrifice the integrity of the dramatic story being told to have a lot of big explosive fun, which does come in the third act of the film. And the material Chris Evans is given as Steve Rogers in this film really kind of allows him to fill out and flesh out the character more with a little more depth, a little more subtleties, a little more complexities. He's still that guy trying to find his place in the world, trying to catch up on everything that's been going on in the decades he's been out of the world and everything. But you see a guy who's really trying to find a good, solid ground for him to step off on, and he's got to weave his way through this very gray area of political espionage and intrigue and everything, where he comes from a time where, at least in nostalgia, looking back, retrospective, it seemed like a much more of a time of black and white. Things were, you're good guys, they're bad guys, or white hats, or black hats. It wasn't gray hats anywhere. He's now in a complete gray area of the world where people have certain agendas, that they have means to an end. They might have ideals that match your own, but the ways they go about achieving those things may be too extreme, may be at too high of a cost. So Captain America is that character that's going to come in there and try to steer things in the correct way. Say, no, this is the correct way. This is too high of a cost. These are the certain things that you should uphold. These are ideals that should be upheld for everyone's sake. And Chris Evans does a very good job in the film. He's very capable of everything that he has to do in this film. Dramatically, physically, everything is handled superbly on his end of things. And Anthony Mackie does a great job establishing the character of Falcon in this film. He has great chemistry with Chris Evans. He got a lot of great comedy dialogue that doesn't overtake the film. It complements the tone and the characters very well. And he works out excellently in all the action sequences. He completely holds his own and makes himself a very solid part of this cast. And you got a little bit more things going on with the characters that we've not had that much to work with previously in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, such as Black Widow has a lot more to work with because she's much more of a main character here, working right alongside with Steve Rogers throughout the whole film, and Scarlett Johansson does a great job. Even Nick Fury, which is a character that's been around since Iron Man just a tad bit, hasn't had a lot to really explore about himself in these films up until now. Because just like Captain America himself, this is the perfect type of story to explore more of Nick Fury's character in, because it's right exactly in his type of world. This very don't trust anyone, gray area political backstabbing and intrigue and just conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. It's just the right type of story to interject him in a much more substantive role. And Samuel L. Jackson does a really good job showing that he can probably do a lot more with the character than what he's already been given. And Robert Redford's involvement in this film is very much what drew me further into it, very much intrigued me from the outset, because an actor of his caliber obviously doesn't have to do everything that passes his desk. He involves himself in roles and projects that he finds very intriguing on a certain level. They rise to a certain standard for him. And he doesn't disappoint at all. This is a great Robert Redford performance. He brings a lot of subtlety and intelligence to the role of Alexander Pierce. He does a really fine job in this role, making it a much more against-type heavier role than you might expect Robert Redford to portray, and he handles it with all the talent and skill that you come to expect from this wonderfully seasoned actor. Marvelous performance. I think he did a great job handling every little detail in this film. He impressed me so much in certain scenes. I do not want to spoil anything, but there are wonderful and clever and well executed twists and turns throughout this film. I think the script for this film was very well made. It was very well thought out, very well executed. I thought they did a lot of smart, clever things in this film. And this film has a little bit more lower key, quieter moments in between the big bombastic action scenes. A little bit more than the other Marvel movies have had. I thought it kind of toned things down a little bit. It didn't have so much big charisma, a lot of witty banter and whatnot. It kind of kept it a little bit more modulated in a type of way. Just kind of focused on the characters a little bit more grounded type of way. Like what the directors in this film do. I think they do everything very, very, very well in this film. They came from much more... They worked on the show, NBC show Community before. They come from much more of a comedy background, and it's surprising that a couple of people who, with that kind of background, transitioned very confidently into a much more action-oriented type of filmmaking experience. I thought they did a really good job. The action sequences are very thrilling. They're very exciting. There are a couple of things in there that really impressed me, but I thought that some of the camera work could have been a lot better, because the fight choreography I thought was really damn well done, but some of the camera work is shot too close in, and it's very seizure cam type of thing, which you've seen enough of my videos. I am sick and fucking tired of shaky cam, quick cut type of thing, and this film goes right for it. It goes right for it in a lot of the hand-to-hand combat scenes, the close quarter type of stuff. If they opened up the frame, kept the thing a lot more still, had longer takes, it would work. It would be fantastic. These action sequences would be a lot more impressive if you just kept the damn thing camera still for a little while and let the things play out in longer shots. It would work out marvelously. It would work out wonderfully, magnificently. It would look fantastic. Instead, they jar the camera around way too damn much for my liking. And I would probably agree with a lot of people that it really would not be very akin to a good 3D showing because of that. But I love the third act really kind of pays off, where there is some big action sequences in the film, but it's not as chock full of adrenaline pumping action. They keep the action sequences to the point where they serve the plot. They're not going to overextend them. They're not going to throw in action because this is the point. You have to have one like every 10 minutes or whatnot. You don't have to hit a quota or whatnot with your action. They really have the action service the plot, which is one of the things I absolutely love. But the third act of the film, the climax, it fulfills that big bombast, that big large-scale action sequence desire and everything. I thought it did it really fantastically. I was very much thrilled by the third act. I really liked it a lot. But the story is what matters the most. You can have the biggest, best action sequences in the history of cinema, but if you don't have a very good story to tell, I don't think you have a very good film. And this film does have a very strongly focused story to tell, and it's done very well. It's very well conceived, well executed. It develops and evolves its characters as the events of it unfold. I think it's a very well done story by very capable directors. But the titular villain of the film, the Winter Soldier, is almost terminally underused here. He's a great secondary villain. because I won't reveal who the primary villain is. He is a secondary villain in the film that pretty much only shows up for the action sequences. Knowing who the Winter Soldier actually is, because I've known it since it's been in the comics, it's been out for years for the comic book fans. For those of you who don't know, I won't reveal it, but knowing what he means to Steve Rogers, there could have been a wonderful, powerful, emotional backbone to this film with a lot of substance that could have evolved Steve Rogers' character even further if they explored the character in a lot more depth than he already was in the film. It is great that the Winter Soldier is almost a complete physical match for Captain America, that he can go fiercely toe-to-toe with him throughout the whole film. It is very evenly matched between them, but I really would have liked if there was a little bit more substance to dig ourselves into the character and have it affect Steve Rogers in a much more profound way, to show that in a much more profound level with him throughout the whole film. But overall, I thought Captain America the Winter Soldier was a very good film. Not great. I wasn't amazed. I wasn't blown away, but I was very much satisfied to a certain degree with the film. Captain America the Winter Soldier, I thought, was a very satisfying, entertaining film that should do a lot of good things for a lot of people. It could have been a little stronger. Like I said, it didn't blow me away, but I thought it was good. It's worth watching at least once. Go see it in the theater. You'll find it very worthwhile. And that's all I got for you this time. When I have something more to tell you, I'll be back with another video, and we'll see what happens. I'm very much holding out hope that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 will be very damn good, and will hopefully, I'm pulling for it to be the best between Captain America and X-Men Days of Future Past. So this will probably be the most crowd-pleasing and solid one of the bunch, but one never knows. So we'll check things out when they come around, and as always, if you saw the film, post some comments, discuss things away. What did you think of the film? Did you think it was very well done, or did you not care for it that much? Post some comments below, and I'll get back to you in due time. And thanks for checking things out. Bye-bye.